Hey Pirates, if you're still using Sloths or the brand is Unstoppable Sloth, you probably need a good spotter, a ship to go in the channel and tank a lot of damage and just be the spotter for the remote range mortars, right? So I want to show you how to build a good spotter using the Missile Stormcruiser. To get started, let's talk about the armor. The MSC only has penetrative deflection. And we know the turrets today doing a lot of damage are pretty much ballistic and penetrative. So we'll start very simply here with 2 MC2 armors. You cannot use more than 2, so we're just going to add 2. Next up, we're going to do one of those D6Us to get a bit of the other resistances. And because this is still very low, penetrative and ballistic, we're going to put 2 more MC1 since we cannot put MC2s anymore. Okay, so that's my armor combo for this ship. Next up, we gotta take a look at the weapons, and here we gotta be strategic. Remember, this is a spotter, so this ship is not meant to do a lot of damage. It's meant to just spot, and to do that, all you need is one weapon with a long range. So I'm gonna put 1 missile here. Okay, the D55X, and we'll put a special later on to increase its range, but we'll start with that. The rest of the weapons are either countermeasures or weapons to help its defense. And I want you to keep that in mind when building any Conqueror. You can now use weapons to supplement your weaknesses. Okay, so let's say the explosive deflection here is too low. You can just come and put a second or even a third of these missiles until you're comfortable with that, right? If you want to increase the other types, it's very simple. We'll just go looking for cannons, and we get the cannon that came out with the impact cruiser, the D35V, and that's going to increase radioactive. We can use the brand new thrower, if you got this bounty, that came out with the Ifrit. And we'll just put it there, and now your corrosive goes up. And we can put a rocket here, or a mortar. I'm going to go with a rocket. Okay, L100 CT, and that's going to buff your concussive. I mean, it doesn't make you invincible against everything, but it makes it better, right? Then probably you'd be smart to put some countermeasures. And the Night Watch is my choice just because it, again, increases deflection a little bit more. So we'll put 2 of those. They're very heavy, that's the only problem. Alright, so now we got weapons, some countermeasures, and let's take a look at specials. To improve your countermeasures, we're going to go with an old special here, Frontline Countermeasure System. That also gives you turret defense, which is absolutely needed in a Conqueror. Next up, because this guy is a spotter, so it has to dodge and avoid as much damage as it can, we'll do Agility System 4. That's going to give you evade and slow and stun resistance. We need that. And because usually Conquerors have to go through fields to slow them down and whatnot, we're also going to need Tactical Insulator. It also increases evade, so that's a good choice. Okay, so now this is still a slow ship and we still need range for the missile. So there is a special that came out for the Manticore, and it's going to kill 2 birds with a single stone. So the moment we use here Strike System 5, it gives us speed. It's faster actually than Speed System 6, and a tank, a spotter, you want it to be fast, right? So you don't spend a lot of time, and even if you get slowed down, you're still fast enough. And it gives you the range you need for the missiles. Right? So now if you look at our speed, it's fairly decent at 64. We'll make it even better. There is a special that came in bounty a few bounties ago that extends the range of your missiles a little bit more, penetrative scope. So you gain extra 9% range. That's going to make your ship have a range of 117 instead of the usual 110, if I did my math right. So for a spotter, that's what you want, the longest possible range, so you can even outrange some conquerors in defense or some turrets. Okay, last but not least, now what else could we use here? We could use something to make this ship even faster. So any special that makes your ship faster, and to my knowledge, the best choice here, it's a special that came out with the Hydras, the launcher system. It gives you extra 30% combat speed. I'm not aware of anything that gives you more than that. Maybe there is, but this is the best, to the best of my knowledge, what we can do. Now you see we're getting a bit too heavy here, so we'll have to sacrifice some weapon or just take something down. Maybe we can do with less explosive defense. So I'm just gonna free up a slot in here for now, just leave it empty. You could put a lighter countermeasure if you want. You know, see if you can find a lighter weapon. These new weapons are all very heavy, so I don't think you could. And there are some tactical modules you could put in here. Because that's a tank, I'm not going to use the Haymaker, because the Haymaker drains health from the ship, and you don't want to be draining health from your tank. It's a bad choice. A good choice, I'm out of it, but the Field Extinguisher, it's something you could put into just, you know, kill field, fire fields, hostile fire fields. This still fits. Okay, our speed now is pretty decent at 73, and if you want to use that empty slot to gain some extra speed, you can put any weapon here that's light and gives you 5-6% extra speed. I think the best choice is the Cryonic Death Charge. Is lightweight and it gives you extra 6% speed. Okay, so this would be my spotter. I have a ship that's very similar to that, only needs a couple of refits. But I've been using the penetrative scope and the strike system, and that works really well. I'm only going to add the launcher system here, which I don't have on that one, and the field extinguisher. Other than that, you know, it rolls pretty nicely, can take ballistic fire in most situations. It can absolutely take any base with the penetrative turret. You can say it's immune to that. All I can say is, like, this is a fairly effective setup. This armor setup I use on my attack missile cruisers as well. Just a specials change. Hope that was useful. See you next time, pirates.